Is d minus 4 a factor for each of these? I'm going to show you two methods for this. One is you could just factor it. And if you factor it and d minus 4 shows up, you would say, yes, it's a factor. If you factor it and d minus 4 doesn't show up, then you would say, no, it's not a factor. Now that's probably where you would go with this coming from grade 10. I'm going to show you though that there is a bit of a shortcut with this. We'll do the shortcut method first. I'm going to put a question mark. If d minus 4 is a factor, that's what we want to find out. It actually predetermines what the second one has to be. If this is a d minus 4, and it is a factor, what has to be here to get 2d squared? There would have to be a 2d there, guaranteed. And if the last one is a minus 56, and I have a minus 4, I'm just going to stretch your times table a little bit. 4 times what is 56? 14. So it would have to be, right, if d minus 4 is a factor, this would have to be 2d plus 14. So now we're going to actually check. Is d minus 4 times 2d plus 14. Let's FOIL, multiply everything out. You would get 2d squared plus 14d minus 8d and minus 56. Simplify those two in the middle. Does it match with what we had originally? Yes. So I'm going to say this is the shortcut because they asked if d minus 4. I have to make sure that I put a question mark here because I don't know for sure if they're equal. In mathematics, if you make things equal that aren't equal, you lose marks. You can't just like say, 5 is equal to 3, and I'm going to do some work with this. This is not a good idea. Since we don't know they're equal, I put a question mark about that because I'm wondering. But if they were equal, it would have to be the 2d plus 14, and I checked it. The other way, method 2, I'll just draw a line here. If I was doing method 2 would just be like, can you factor this? Well, I notice there's a common factor of 2. And once that common factor of 2 is taken out, the d squared as my first one has to be d and d. The 28 is the last one. Lots of options for 28. 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7. Do any of those make an outside and inside give you 3? 4 and 7 would give me 3 if I subtracted. I need a plus 3, so I would need a plus 7 and a minus 4. And when you factor it normally, if the d minus 4 shows up, then you would say, yes, it is a factor. The problem with factoring normally is I could give you one that doesn't factor. Then you would be checking for a long time. Or I could give you one that's very hard to factor. So using method 1 is a little bit easier. So let's look at B and try that the same way. So in B, we start off with 3d squared plus 13d plus 4, and we have a question mark. Is it d minus 4 times something? Well, if my first one is a 3d squared, that would mean this has to be 3d. My last one's a plus 4. Does it make sense that this one has to be a minus 1 in order to work. Let's do a check. If I take d minus 4 times 3d minus 1, I'm going to get 3d squared minus d minus 12d and plus 4, which is 3d squared minus 13d plus 4. Does it match? No. If we tried to factor this, so using method 2, no common factor, look at your first ones, 3d squared. Only option, 3d and d. Look at your last ones of 4. Could be 2 and 2, 1 and 4, or 4 and 1. Right? Can you see here now 1 and 4 and 4 and 1 are different. I need a 13. I check the 2 and 2 first. That gives me 6 and 2. That never gives me 13. What are you feeling? 4 and 1 or 1 and 4? One and 4? So if I try the 1 and 4, my outside is 12, my inside is 1. 12 and 1 makes 13. I would need this to be plus 12 plus 1. And so we factor it. That's a weird A. I just apologize. I don't know what happened. Getting excited about making the app, maybe. So if we factor it normally and it doesn't show up, then it's not a factor. This can be more difficult than the first method. Okay, so I'm going to get you to circle 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just a review of grade 10 factors. And 7 and 8 is like this question. We'll do 5 minutes of practice right now.